Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your college football week 0. We got 5 games for you for Saturday's action. I believe that's the 23rd of August. We've got 5 games for you, and this just whets your appetite a little bit. So before we get to the college football picks, don't forget, you can get in on our 749 All Sports Pass that goes all the way through the Super Bowl for both college football and the NFL. And we went to the Boss Man and got a 10% off code for you. So use the promo code Craig and Arun, or it's Craig, Arun, all together. So no spaces, CRAIGARUN, like it is at the bottom of the screen here. You get 10% off, and that works on full season passes for the NFL or for the football pass or MLB that's going on right now. I think that one's $3.99, right? Didn't we say it was $3.99 or $3.59 or something like that? So get in on that. Just go to the sport that you want over. If you log in at the leaderboard and click on either my name or Arun and pick which sport you want. You can get both, in fact. So make sure you get in on that. Also, don't forget about our premium and premium plus. That is one heck of a deal. So it's actually 3 levels. So premium here at YouTube, $4.99, $19.99, $49.99. Very simple. Choose one. Choose the high level. Choose the middle. That's Indian Cowboy. Level 1's Lenny. But whatever you choose, click on below, and you can purchase it now. It explains exactly what you get, too. So make sure you check out the details of this video. All right, guys, let's get right to it. Let's talk college football week 0. I see I'm going to kick you off here, and we're looking at week 1 here and that's not week 1. It's week 0, let's be clear, or an extension of week 1. Iowa State versus Kansas State. This is in Dublin, so across the pond, as they say. It's a noon kickoff here, though, as far as the time. We see Kansas State favored by 3.5, total 49.5. What do you like here?
I like Kansas State. I think Kansas State, obviously you get them on the hook, too. Why are they giving the hook? Is the first question you should ask yourself on 2 ranked teams. But, Iowa State ended the season pretty well. I mean, they beat Miami 42-41, obviously. But this is a Iowa State team that, don't forget, lost to Arizona State 19-45. It's a team, and I like Kansas State coming into this game because they ended up beating Rutgers 44-41. The game prior to losing to that Rutgers game was losing to Iowa State 21-29. And they barely lost to Houston. They barely lost to Arizona State. I think this team is, I'm a fan of Kansas State this year. And when you look at Kansas State's, head football coach as well, Chris Kleiman, right? You have a guy here that, they went 9-4 in 2024. They went 9-4 the year before that, 10-4 before that. And this guy took Kansas State to 4 straight years of at least 8 wins, which is really, really impressive. And there's a reason why this team is so highly ranked as it is. And I have nothing against Matt Campbell. He's a good coach. And certainly they were 11-3 last year, but don't forget they were 7-6 the year before. They were 4-8 the year before that. So as they come off 11 wins, I think this team is going to have a letdown. Nobody is going to be looking past this team this year. And when you take a look at that Iowa State-Kansas State game last year, you have a Kansas State team that lost on the road 21-29, and they were a 2-point dog going into that game. They actually outpassed Iowa State in that game. They had 220 yards to Kansas State's, to Iowa State's 137. The only difference is Iowa State was able to rush really well, but I think that's not going to happen this time around. Kansas State was also penalized 2 times more than Iowa State, but that was a game on the road, and now they're in neutral footing. And I think when you put all that into effect, I think Kansas State probably comes out on top. So I'm going to lay the points here on the -3.5. All right, Craig, moving on here. Idaho State. I know you've been getting really excited about this game. And I know you're probably going to be scalping tickets for them. So Idaho State is on the road to face UNLV. And mighty Dan Mullen has left the SEC because he got kicked out. And he's all the way up in UNLV. And that team has gotten a complete makeover and shift. Idaho State is a clever little team. They had a coach who had 3 wins in his first year, now 5 wins in his second year. But, of course, Mullen probably wants to do well in his first game with his new ball club. Total 64.5. Who do you like as UNLV comes in as a 24.5-point favorite?
I still don't understand why Dan Mullen – obviously, I get why he was fired at Florida. He was struggling. And, when you're at the big schools in the SEC, they just don't have the patience that like he did when he was at Mississippi State. But I kind of surprised no other team picked him up. You know what I mean? Like I thought he did a fairly good job for a long time in the SEC. it didn't end well great at Florida, but that happens. And I thought somebody else would pick him up. They didn't. UNLV, I think, gets a gift. Odom did an unbelievable job. Let's be honest. UNLV went from being one of the worst teams in college football to one of the biggest surprises last year. I mean, remember the quarterback issue that left because he didn't get paid the NIL. They still kept it going and ended up in the Mountain West championship game. I mean, what a season it was. I just think there's a lot of moving parts that with new coach, everything, I just think it's asking a lot to win by 24.5 points. I think this Idaho State team's going to be a little better. Yes, they finished like just 2-4 last year, but I like what I've at least read, which is what you have to go by at this point. What's training camp look like, how effective they've been. I think they have enough here, and I think UNLV would be happy to win by 3 touchdowns. I don't think they're going to be trying to figure it out and blow everybody out because there's bigger goals ahead of them for UNLV. The goal is not to beat Idaho State by 1 million. So
Can I say something about Dan Mullen? I think you bring up a great point. He was at Mississippi State from 2009 to 17, right?
Yep.
5 wins first, then 9, then 7, then 8, then 7, then 10, then 9, then 6, then 8. He goes to Florida, has 10 win seasons, 11 win seasons, which Florida has not had since then.
Yeah.
10 and 11 win seasons, then 8 and 4, and then God forbid 1 year he goes 5 and 6. Then he doesn't have a job for 4 years.
Yep. It makes no sense.
Blackballed for 4 years, dude.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He's like 57 years old. He's not like he's old. I mean, it's stunning. I mean, you lead.
I thought he maybe didn't want it. I thought maybe he was happy because he did a lot of press and media work. I thought maybe he was happy with that because some coaches, they've made their money and they're like, you know what? I don't need the stress. Easier on my family. It sounded like he wanted coaching and they just didn't have the opportunities.
Dude, he's won 10 of 13 seasons between Mississippi State and Florida.
In the SEC.
In the SEC. And you don't get a gig?
And at Mississippi State, nevertheless, was not good until he got there. So it was like
whatever, man. That's Mississippi State is like West Coast or East Coast San Diego. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, next game. To be honest,
Gulf of America.
The good game is early and late. So I apologize. We only can give you what we can give you as far as the games that are available to play. But next game, maybe the third best game on the board, Fresno State and Kansas. Kansas favored by 12.5, total 50.5. And of course, the big news is Kurt Warner's son's transferred in, and he's going to be the starter here at Fresno. So, does he have the magic that his dad has to pull up an upset here?
I think they're going to be more competitive than people think they are, because Kansas obviously Matt Entz. I'm a fan of Matt Entz, right? So you have a coach here who, you have a coach here that obviously has a ton of experience, right? So he comes into this game, and he used to coach at North Dakota State, if you remember, right? He was at North Dakota State for a long time, stud, right? 16-0 in 2019, NCAA, championship, then 7 wins and 14-1, another NCAA championship. So the guy is 16-11, and there's a reason why you like Kurt Warner's kid, right? Because they think they can do pretty well. Fresno State, last year, they went in, I think their season was, they ended up losing to UCLA, and then they ended up losing in a bowl game to NIU. And then Kansas, obviously Kansas had a pretty good year, but, the thing about Kansas, though, I feel like they're obviously not, Lance Leopold is obviously head coach there. Yes, Lance Leopold had a pretty good year, but keep in mind that, the previous year before that, I think he sort of really struggled a little bit too. So keep that in mind. So I'm going to back. It's not like a huge lean, but I like Fresno State here. So here's the thing about Lance Leopold. He went 5-7 in 2024, and then 9-4 in 2023, and then 6-7 before that. Right? He was at Buffalo before that. But outside of that one great 2023 year, this team hasn't been that good. So who do you want? You want an NCAA Division II, 2-time national champion with a new quarterback and that excitement, or do you want to back Kansas with a coach that went 5-7 last year and has only had 1 winning season out of 4 at Kansas? So for that reason, I got to go with Fresno State here, plus the 12.5. I'm interested to see what the public comes in at in this game, and the total sitting at 50.5. So I like Fresno State. And the fact that that total is low, I think 15.5 kind of favors the Fresno State coaching staff because Kansas wants to throw the ball more, and I think he wants to slow it down. So I'm going to back Fresno State here plus the 12.5. Sam Houston versus Western Kentucky on a total of 60.5. Interesting game because these two teams have history. Western Kentucky did beat them last year 31-14 and beat them the year before 28-23. And now they come in at those games are totaled at 52 and 54. Now they come in as a 10-point favorite on a total of 60.5. Who do you like, Craig?
I mean, Helton at Western Kentucky's been pretty good. I think he's been there like 5 years now. He's 8 or 9 win guy pretty much every year, which means I think last year they were in the conference championship game. I ended up losing in the Boca Raton Bowl, if I remember. And, so he's done well. He just, obviously they lose to some of the bigger teams when they, get their paydays. But in their conference against teams like the Sam Houston, played well. Sam Houston's coach moved on and the offensive coordinator took over. So even though Longo is the new coach, he was offensive coordinator last year. So it's not like it's not like a whole new system's coming in. He's keeping the offensive system. Sam Houston was sneaky play I had on several occasions last year, did pretty well with it. And I think this is a much closer game than 10 points suggest. I just think, if I remember right, yeah, they're 5-1 against the spread their last 6 games, Sam Houston last year. They really were money for me. I remember playing on several, they were on midweek games and did really well with them. So keeps this. I do think Western Kentucky will win. But I think all the public's going to be on Western Kentucky because they're like, oh, they've got most of, the coaching staff back and blah, blah, blah. But it's like Longo he was there. It's not a guy that's brand new, even though we see so many players coming new to both teams. I like Sam Houston plus the points here. I think this week, the underdogs, I think, are going to do pretty well. I'm guessing the underdogs will win or cover in 5 of these 5 games, at least 3, and maybe even 4. So I'm going to be on the underdog in this one. Last game, probably I think the second best game on the board as far as betting is concerned. So you're welcome to have this one, IC. It's in Hawaii, Stanford at Hawaii here. Hawaii -2, total 53. Are you shocked that Hawaii is favored in this one?
No, and I'll tell you why. First of all, the GM of Stanford football is obviously Andrew Luck. And who does Andrew Luck go and get? He goes and gets his Indianapolis Colts buddy, Frank Reich, who's now the head coach of the Stanford Cardinals. So all these pro coaches that are coming back down to college and these college coaches are going back to the pros, it's a nice little back and forth. So Frank Reich, the former NFL coach, is the head coach of this team. But would you get excited to play for Frank Reich if you're a college player? Like, I
don't know what he's like. What is he hanging his hat on here? That's what I'm like. I don't get. Is he going to be an offensive coach, defensive coach? What kind of college coach is he going to be?
Can you tell me a bigger sign of disrespect if you're an NFL coach and you're coaching Stanford and you come in as a 2-point dog to Hawaii who won 5 games last year and 5 games the year before? They're not expecting much. But I will tell you this: Timmy Chang has to come through this year. Right, he had his team at 3-10 last year, and then he brought him to 5-8, and then he brought him to 5-7. So this is the year he's 13-25. So this is the year that they really need to kind of bounce back here and do a little bit better. Hawaii, to their credit, I felt like played relatively well. They were competitive in some games last year. They did beat New Mexico as a 6.5-point dog to close the year. They only lost to UNLV by 2 points. And they were 12-point dogs in that game. That was impressive. They beat Fresno on the road. They beat Nevada. They closed the year really well. They closed the year winning their last 3 of 5 games, and that is the reason why. And they only lost to UCLA by 3 points as well. They lost to your Sam Houston State by about 18. They lost to San Diego State by 3. They lost to Boise State by 3 touchdowns. They were in these games somewhat. And Stanford is still brand new. A lot of new. I think they have 17 transfers. A lot of new players.
17 transfer starters, I think, they have a lot more transfers than that, but 17 starters.
So this is a brand new team. It's going to take a while, and Frank Reich is going to take a while to build some sort of culture. I think Hawaii is probably the right side, but at the same time, I can't take Hawaii over Stanford. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, these still are better athletes than what Hawaii has. But I do like the under in this game, which I think you can find that game at 53, which might surprise you. I don't think Frank Reich is going to do anything special. I think Hawaii is going to I think their defense has gotten a lot better too. And I like the under, surprisingly, in this game. And the public's going to be all over the over, like 70%. So I'm going to back the
last
under.
game of the night for sure. And everybody remembers what Hawaii was, when they were putting up, 40, 50, 60 points a game.
June
That's not this
Jones,
one team.
Yeah.
Like, I think this is a danger game. Because if you bet Hawaii, which a lot of people probably will, because like you said, they did finish strong. So if you bet them towards the end of the year, you're like, hey, this team's back. And then Stanford's big boys just dominate.
Who was that little white quarterback? Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
I
mean, let's be honest. Hawaii's had some of those more fun teams to watch, especially when they're the last game on late at night. So hopefully we see a fun game to watch. I think the early game will probably be the best game. And then, this game could be good, though. It could. Let's see if the trenches of like the big boys, if the offensive defensive line of Stanford could dominate, Stanford will win. If it becomes a skill position game, I actually think Hawaii has a little better skill position guys, which people probably would be surprised. But I think that's where they, in space, that's where they have to win games. So we'll see. It'll be interesting.
Let me remind everybody to join our football. Like I won my NFL preseason game of the year on the Bucks, winning football week for me. You've been consistent. You've been crushing football consistently. If you like any of our analysis, jump on our football. And
what did I say that? What was it? Arun? What was it? Craig Arun,
10% off, or Craig Arun. That'll give you 10% off the football and the baseball season. And our last preseason video, we thought we'd just do it once in a while. Our last preseason video, they had like almost 6,000 views. So, check us out every single week. Do not miss all of our NFL picks, which is a separate video, and then all of our college football picks, which is a separate video. And we'll continue to try to hook you guys up.
Click right here. Once we do that other video, which will be tomorrow for the preseason games, it will be here. So we'll actually put the link to the other videos. So make sure if you come back and watch this video, and we'll put the videos, or just like the channel and follow them there. So, but don't forget, hey, we're doing that contest. We still haven't scored last week's contest, by the way. We'll get Max on that, but we'll score last week's contest. See if anybody went 5-0. But we're giving away some swag. So make sure you get in on the contest. It's the NFL video every week. We'll do one.
Craig, can we hook our folks up? How about this? The total passing yards in the Hawaii-Stanford game, since last game on the board, without going over, and we'll send you a prize pack.
Both teams or just?
Both teams combined.
Both teams combined passing yards without going over.
Price is right.
Price is right rules. So make sure you put that in the comments, and you got to do it before the game starts. So make sure you put that in the comments.
Yeah,
so,
please don't be like that. Yeah, just do it.
Don't edit your picks. I've seen it all, but we appreciate everybody watching. We appreciate all the great feedback you've been giving it. Put it in the comments what you think, or suggestions or whatever. And don't forget, we'll have the NFL preseason games up on Wednesday-ish. Might be Wednesday night. Depends on how long it takes me to edit. And then come back next week. We will have college football, every game on the board for college football week 1. And then, of course, the NFL week 1 and college football week 2.
Let us do your homework for you and then jump on our packages.
Yeah, that's right. So, all right, guys, have a great day. See you again tomorrow.